What's going on, my friends? It has been a long time since I have done a question answer on this channel, and what better time than now? What with the Rise of Skywalker coming, Jedi Fallen Order just around the corner, The Mandalorian is less than 2 weeks away now. Lots of good stuff going on in Galaxy of Heroes right now. All right, maybe that last one wasn't quite true. But I've got a lot of questions here that you guys asked me on my Discord server, and I am going to talk through a lot of them. Starting with Kobe's question here. What about Fallen Order excites you the most? Well, Kobe, I am stoked for so many reasons about Fallen Order. Probably just the intangible would be that because I had a chance to play it out in Anaheim just under a month ago now, I feel like I've been deprived. I am an addict who is trying to get back to his vice, and I am just bothered that I haven't been able to play this game. That those 3 hours that I spent with the game were so exciting and so fun that just from a fan standpoint, I just want to play the game as soon as possible, just because it's a fun game. From a Star Wars fan standpoint, having the lore that I think this game potentially could contain, there's a lot of story potential. And so I love a game that isn't just a game you enjoy playing, that you just play through once and, you have a little bit of fun with it, but a game that adds depth to your fandom. And I really feel like Fallen Order has potential to be that. I don't know everything about the story, but there are a few little tidbits at the beginning that just made me go, oh yeah, let's get into this. I can't wait to dig into this story, and I am really anxious to find out where they're going to take it as a whole. So probably the story is what I'm most excited about, and then I just love the game in general. Alex Darth Revan asks, and kind of makes sense that this is coming from somebody named Alex Darth Revan. What do you think about Disney making a series or movies from the Old Republic era based on Revan's story? Shower it upon me. I would love to see Old Republic in film or on a show. I think what I'd like to see more is probably a series of a show like The Mandalorian, where we can have 8 episodes or, several seasons to go through the story, because the lore of Old Republic is super rich. The story of Revan is amazing. The villains, Malak, Nihilus, Traya, Scion, all of these guys are awesome villains. That's to say nothing of so many other great protagonists that we could bring to the table. There's so much I'd love to unpack there that I feel like I would almost be disappointed if it was just a trilogy of films, because I'd love to see it really unpacked over several seasons of a show if possible. Maybe my fan expectations are a bit too much, but yes, I think the Old Republic era is rich, and I actually like what Disney has done in some ways of decanonizing it, and hear me out before you throw dislikes my way. What makes the Marvel Cinematic Universe so awesome is we've got all of these comics to draw on. And these comics are kind of like a guide for what the MCU does. There's potent differences, but there's a lot of stuff that you take from the comics. And so I like looking at the expanded universe that is no longer canon as Star Wars Legends that we can draw upon for future videos. And so a lot of this stuff can come into canon, but when they start doing it, we're not just gonna be like, oh yeah, so we know what's gonna happen here, we played the game. It's gonna be like, well, we kind of know maybe where this is going, but there might be some huge differences here. And so I think that could be a really great way to redeem the fandom and give them what they deserve, because the lore there is so good, and I think we deserve having those stories canonized. But I like the idea of having it done in a way where we don't know what's coming if we were paying attention. So fingers crossed. I would love to see that stuff showered on us. Take my money, Disney. Take my money. You make Old Republic. You could take my money. This is from Raymundo2387. Will you be getting early access to Jedi Fallen Order? I am not getting early access to Jedi Fallen Order that I know of. Though, if you know a way, just let me know. Tell me who to talk to. No. So I was able to play, obviously, but I don't think I'm getting early access. I will be up at midnight with you guys downloading the game, anxious to play as it hits. This is a good Galaxy of Heroes question from Jev. He says, what do you feel is the biggest problem in Galaxy of Heroes right now? Lack of content, the impact of relics, which most likely caused the limited utility of 5-star gas, or the lack of communication with the community from CG, to name a few. So, Jev, I think you really did hit on probably all the biggest problems of Galaxy of Heroes right now. I do think the lack of content is a major issue. I think Relics was way too brash of CG. I don't think that it made sense to do that then. And the lack of communication is a big problem. To me, I think the biggest problem, though, is community perception. Like, it's easy for me to say, these devs don't care about the community, but I don't know that, right? They might care about us a ton, but perception is reality. And right now, the way the community feels is that the dev team has very little care for the community needs, and that the underlying care for this game is just the money. And so to me, what I think I would identify as the biggest problem is that the community does not believe that the devs have their best interests in mind. And that may or may not be true. I can't know if that's true, but that is what the community feels. And I believe that Capital Games should make a big effort to try to change that perception and prove us wrong and show us that they do care. I'm confident there are people over there that do care. But right now, the lack of communication with what's been going on, that message is not coming across, and I think that's really disappointing. This is from Jogan. I haven't played Battlefront 2 since the first few months of its release. What advice would you give me on getting back in the game? Just get into it and start. I think the officer class is probably the easiest class to level up quickly because you get a lot of battle points. It's easy to get a lot of that XP. And so if you want to kind of progress quickly, definitely push hard on your officer class. But in general, just jump in, start playing it. If you don't like PvP very much, do the co-op mode. It's very fun PvE. You are doing it with other people, but it's some pretty satisfying PvE to me. Instant action is also great. 2 new game modes that I think are really fun. Battlefront 2 is way better than a lot of people realize. It's an extremely fun game to me. It really pushes on my Star Wars fandom. And that loot box controversy is 2 years ago now. It's been a long time since all that went down. I think the devs have done a very good job, frankly, of kind of moving past that. And so I wouldn't worry about that so much. If you want to play Battlefront, jump on in, and I think you guys will really enjoy it. And then we got a question here from the real Sith Vader who's asking about Malak Gate in Galaxy of Heroes. What is your opinion? And to me, I mean, look, it was not handled very well. I think it would have been so much easier to just say, all right, 3rd round of this event, we're just going to let these character shards be attainable. You can go enjoy the event. Win for everybody. I mean, it's a win for everybody to me. I don't understand why it had to get so complicated. It just ended up being a lose for everybody. And I also just really don't understand why we need to reward people who exploited it after we were told this is a bug, don't exploit it. And now we're going to let people who exploited it get 2 Zetas. And it's crazy to me. And so I don't feel great about it. I don't think it was handled very well at all. Mad Doggy 82 says, have you thought about streaming the gameplay of the OG Battlefront 2 just for fun? I would take it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, to be honest. I might at some point. I did play the game, and I loved it back when it was fresh, and I have played it somewhat recently. A couple years ago, I think I dusted it off shortly after Battlefront, the new Battlefront 1 came out. But I'm not sure if that's going to make it on my channel quite yet, but we'll see. I like this question. This is from GBP_Skara819. From a non-content creator to a content creator, how does it look to create the content? How long does it take? What are you doing in this time? What do you have to consider? What preparations you have to make for streams? Just curious. Oh my gosh, I could make a whole series of videos on this. Content creation, one of the biggest things I would say is it's stressful, but it's super rewarding. It is the most fun I've ever had in a job in my life. I love what I do. It is a pure passion project, and it is amazing to do it in a way that helps me provide for my family. It is extremely fulfilling. It is stressful from an idea standpoint. You're constantly thinking, all right, what ideas are relevant? What is valuable to my audience? What are people going to enjoy? I personally hate the idea of pushing a video out that nobody is going to find value in. And so trying to find ways to constantly have that value can reach points where it's overwhelming. A lot of times, though, I would say for me, the ideas, it's more like because I obsess over it and I think about it all day, every day, maybe too much, definitely too much. I tend to have too many ideas, and it's a matter of, okay, which idea do I have time for? Because I am working full time in an insurance job. I am doing a master's degree. I commute an hour to work. I've got a wife and 2 kids. And so finding the time to make content can also be a big struggle. From a logistical standpoint, I mean, I could talk about that for forever as well. Time-wise, it usually takes me about, 20, 30 minutes to film a video, maybe an hour to edit it. And then while it uploads, I make a thumbnail. It just depends on the video. Some videos require a little more effort than others. From Bazinga, what pushed you to start making content on this game? I'm sure he's referring to Galaxy of Heroes, which is where I started. Obviously, I'm happy among others, but why did you decide to? So, I did not plan on being a YouTuber. When I uploaded my first YouTube video, it was as simple as I was playing. Again, if anyone isn't playing Galaxy of Heroes, that's where I got my start, and a game that I cover still consistently now. And I had a Jedi arena team because I love the Jedi. You guys, if you guys were following me early on, it was all Jedi love. And I was showing some guildmates how to make Jedi work in the arena when Jedi weren't meta. And I just uploaded it, and it got like 300 or 400 views, maybe 1,000 views, something like that. And I thought, I should do that again. That was kind of fun, People liked that. That was cool. And I made another couple videos, and one thing led to another, and I just started crashing my way through becoming a YouTuber. And I never realized it was something that could become a job. It was something that I would devote this much time and effort into, but it just kind of happened on accident. I didn't upload my first video going, all right, I'm going to be a YouTuber. I just didn't even expect this to happen. And so it's my favorite story about myself in a lot of ways. I ask my wife, you get me talking about my YouTube with my everyday friends, and I won't shut up about it because I'm just so happy, so happy that I've been able to do this. Even though I would love for it to grow to something much bigger than it is right now, I feel so lucky for it to have become what it is even right now. And so nod to you guys for making this what it is. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for the support you've given me. So thanks for asking that question. Lenny Busker says, did you get lit at Galaxy's Edge? That fuzzy tauntaun will get you numb. No, I don't drink. I don't drink at all. But I did have some blue milk there. And the blue milk, it doesn't taste like milk at all. It's like a slushy almost. Like a kind of an ice drink with it kind of tastes coconutty in some ways. And it was really, really good. My favorite part of Galaxy's Edge by far was making a lightsaber. That experience was maybe the pinnacle of my Star Wars fandom. Absolutely phenomenal. Mad Cow says, when are you dropping your Battlefront 2 music video? Oh man, I don't know. I want to make more music videos. I've done several music videos all about gaming stuff. I kind of want to do a general Star Wars music video, actually. Right now, I don't have a strong idea coming to me. The way the music videos tend to work is I get an idea that pops in my head and it's strong enough and I just run with it. And I obsess over it and I obsess over it and I obsess over it until I've got the lyrics. And then I record the song and then I run out into the desert and film a video. And so right now I don't have anything hitting me yet, but once it does, you bet. I mean, the music videos by far are my favorite videos that I ever make. They're so fun. Here's an interesting one. Captain Figon, what advice would you give to someone who's addicted to spending on Galaxy of Heroes? So I'm going to speak from the heart a little bit on this one because I have had brushes with addiction in my life. And it's scary stuff. And if you genuinely feel like you are addicted to Galaxy of Heroes, spending wise, it's definitely something I think that you should address. What I would recommend is to be open about it to somebody that you care about, someone that you love, and tell them, I think that this is a problem, and take steps to have them give some accountability to you. So I would open up to someone in real life and take measures to address it. But if you don't tell anyone about it, then it'll probably never get addressed. But if you feel like you're addicted, absolutely address it, please. The Supreme Leader says, do you like Dragon Champions more than Galaxy of Heroes now? So to me, it's not a fair comparison. Dragon Champions is very early game. Galaxy of Heroes is very late game. I think Galaxy of Heroes is coming on a sunset, and Dragon Champions is trying to break into the mainstream right now. The biggest weakness of Dragon Champions to me is Dragon Champions is not a Star Wars game. And so you don't have that IP to kind of keep you interested through the rough times. But for now, I personally am having a ton of fun with it. I'm playing the heck out of it. I've missed my arena payout I don't know how many times now so that I could play Dragon Champions. So for me personally, I'm a huge fan of it, but I also understand why a lot of other people aren't fans of it. And then finally, our last question here. Cubs, this is from Fulbright. Over the last 18 months, one of the largest complaints about Galaxy of Heroes was a lack of diversity in Arena, which is true, and other areas where mirror matches were dominant and who had the fastest mods usually won most of the matches. Would you say the addition of Relic adds diversity to this game, as each player seems to be allocating their own resources in different ways, making older meta teams viable again in Arena and Grand Arena Championships? I know I am seeing more than 4 different team comps in my arena, for example. Yes, this hits on in my opinion, the only positive of Relics, and that is that it is legitimately diversifying the arena meta, and it is shaking things up quite a bit in Grand Arena, and it does make things more interesting. What I wish, the criticism I'll give to this is there had to be other ways to do this rather than giving us a new paywall. That's what bothers me about it, is the paywall component of it. But if I'm going to try to remove my frustrations with that and look at it from an unbiased perspective, this is a very solid component of Relics that I think does make the game better from a balance standpoint. But from a player morale standpoint, it does more to discourage players than motivate players. The people who I observe are the most happy with Relics are people who are more comfortable spending on this game. There are people who are free to play that probably don't have a problem with them, and that's great on you. But for the most part, Relics seems to me to be a discourager rather than a motivator, and that's the fundamental problem with them, in spite of a very solid positive that come with them, that it does bring diversity, which I think is great. All right, my friends, that wraps up the Q&A. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And if you guys do enjoy my videos, check out my Patreon. I've got a link on my YouTube channel to that. I would love to have you there. I do weekly chats with my patrons every week, and daily chats for my Jedi Master patrons and above. So, thanks again for joining me for the video, my friends. And as always, my brothers, don't forget